how do you treat or deal with people who are radically opposed to stuff you hold dear and sacred? Like, the unnatural thing is to respond with compassion.
Right.
When we respond out of emotion,
Right.
we interpret people's hurt through the lens of our own.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You said this. I'm pissed that you said it because it affected me this way. So now I want to respond to what you said with that lens of hurt. Versus, where did that come from? Welcome to the Legend Podcast, fam. I'm glad you are here. I'm your host, Legend. To my left, the elusive JB Harrison. We don't even know what that means, but we're running out of adjectives. But while you're here, man, like, star, subscribe to Fang, and share this if you find it helpful. Who's not here is Trevor Lucas. We love him. Great man, wonderful person. We think, but he's found himself absent, so we don't know what's going on in his life. And but yeah, man. So the conversation today is basically around how do you treat or deal with people who are radically opposed to stuff you hold dear and sacred. We're having a conversation about like people who deconstruct and leave the faith, but then become like rabid against stuff that you hold dear and you guys are friends and what they're saying is hurting you and all that type of stuff. How do you deal with that, JB?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. So I don't have the answers.
5-minute episode.
Yeah, this might be a short one. I think for me, and it's a tough space to navigate because again, and it's not a thing to where, well, because you no longer follow Jesus, that I can't, deal with you or we're no longer friends. It's not that. I think what happens is, or what I've seen is, once people go through their whole deconstruction phase of Christianity, then as you said, they become almost like they become angry. Mm-hmm. And want to critique everything that has to do with Christianity at that point. Mm-hmm. And I guess for me, it's all right. Well, if you chose to leave, all right, cool. I understand. And when I say cool, not that I'm happy because at this point, if you were to die, you may not. You unless you caught on to Jesus real quick.
I'm worried for you.
Your goal is your soul is going somewhere. And so that's not what it is. But for me, it's a thing to where, at one time, this is where you were. Now you're here. And every time I turn around, it's venom. Mm. You're posting. What you're saying is just, it's the critique now. Yeah. And so for me, outside of just hitting the whole unblock or block them, no longer wanting to deal with them, it's how do you deal and handle those type of situations, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think you zoom out and it's like you said, it's not just this topic in particular, it's anything. Like right. When we disagree on right. life, we disagree on politics, we disagree on parenting or whatever we disagree on, and we at odds. And you coming with venom, like right. I just have a different opinion, but you come with venom, and it's like this is poisoning me. I'm starting to get pissed now, and I'm starting to get hurt by what you said. Yeah. How do I then treat you? And I think, man, in any situation, deconstruction, otherwise, any situation, like we got to do the unnatural thing, right? The natural thing is to respond in kind. Mm-hmm. You offended me. You spoke against something I care deeply about. You disagreed with me. I took it personal. Right. Now we're going to go back and forth. Like, that's the natural thing. That's easy to go there. Like, that's what our flesh wants to do. Mm-hmm. But, like, the unnatural thing is to respond with compassion. Right. That maybe you're coming from a place of hurt. Maybe you're coming from something that, maybe you got a wound back here that's tied to this topic that I have no idea about. I'm responding to the vitriol, but there's something back here that never got healed. Mm-hmm. And we can fight about it, and this thing remains intact and unhealed. Yeah. So, like, I think, man, the first thing, like, for me, when I'm dealing with somebody and they frustrated, angry about something, I try to come at it first with, well, hold on, let me have compassion for this emotion. Right. I want to get mad about the thing you're talking about because I'm passionate about whatever you speak. Mm-hmm. But, like, where this emotion coming from? Because why we can't just have a conversation with normal tones? Why you post like that what's going on? What happened? Mm-hmm. And I try to keep that in the front of my mind just to keep me from responding or getting pissed or writing somebody off.
Right, and not getting emotional.
I don't want to get emotional. Right. Yeah, I don't want to get emotional. Like, because, emotions are great servants but terrible masters. You know what I mean? Like,
where'd you get that from?
I don't remember. I didn't make it up. I'm not trying to steal that one.
That's big.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
They're great servants, terrible masters. So, like, if I feel angry and I respond in anger, I'm a slave to my emotions.
Right.
Bro, how do I not do that? Let me have compassion. Like, bro, you're angry about something. Before we even talk about the topic, where's that coming from? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? And so what I make myself do a lot of times, whether it's I see something that has nothing to do with me, or I'm in a conversation that's directed at or around me, internally, to check myself, I start to pray for that person to make sure, God, whatever's going on, whether this hurt is or whatever's happening, whether it's bad information or trauma or whatever, Lord, meet them there. And if I'm supposed to be a part of healing or correction or responding, I'll be happy to be a part of it. If I'm not, let me be okay with not having to prove my point. Right. That's another thing. We feel like we have to correct stuff we disagree with to validate our perspective. Yeah. I don't have to win an argument to be right. You see what I'm saying? But people feel like, oh no, tell me where you're at right now. I'm like, I don't know. I don't really like the culture and the environment. Like, for me, like, if we can't go get a burger and talk about this, I don't want to discuss it with you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to sit here and go back and forth. I preached at the church one time. I said something about one of the Bible verses that for a good man, some would die. It was about giving your life for those that you don't like, right? I can't remember the exact quote, but Jesus was like, for a good man, some might dare to die, but for a bad man, some would scarcely die, or something like that. And I was trying to make this point of, like, most people won't go and give their life for the bad guy. Right. Jesus stretched his arms out for the bad guy and said, Father, forgive them. They don't know who they are. Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And there was a guy that came up to me afterwards, military cat, and he took the whole verse as saying, "Oh, so all of my friends that I watched die on the battlefield, that gave their life for these over there in Iraq for these people that want to blow us up, and I watched my friends die." And he's just like, red eyes, tears, fighting back. I'm like, bro, that's not what I'm saying at all. You know what I mean? But he was yelling at me on some, like, much bigger than me, kind of towering over me, like yelling type stuff. And there was a bunch of people kind of like circling around looking. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna come help? Like, I'm just finna watch this go down. You know what I mean? and he was in there, and I was like, I can go back and forth with this dude right now, because there's two things he said that I remember this conversation. I can shut him down right now, but I don't even know if it's gonna be effective. Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. He's going back to some place. Yes. And all I said was, because I wanted to defend myself, I was getting pissed, you raising your voice at me. I was like, bro, I'm really sorry you lost your friends, and I'm sorry you've been through that. I just looked at him in his eyes, and I watched all the anger start to come down. And he just, thanks for listening to me, and stormed off.
Because at that point, what else do you say?
Yeah.
You weren't combative with him, you wouldn't, and like, you just, I think that was probably the best thing that you could have done.
Yeah, and he could have chosen to keep going. He could have chosen to be like, yeah, and that's why you need to fix what you said. He could have, you know what I'm saying? And at a certain point, I'd be like, all right, bro, you need to chill. Like, we need to stop. But like I wanted to give him what I felt like he needed in that moment. Right. And whether it was just wisdom or God or whatever, like, that moment was there. But I remember, I think about him sometimes, because I'm like, man, he's been through some stuff, and he's lost some people. And me proving my point, it doesn't matter at that moment. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because we've seen a lot of people that we've come up with, in a sense, kind of turn. Yeah. Turn from the faith for whatever reason.
We were talking about both our feet.
Turn from the faith for whatever reason. Yeah. And then now that they have turned from the faith,
become disrespectful.
Oh my goodness.
Disrespectful.
And it's a thing to where, okay, I see where you are. Mm-hmm. Maybe we do need to have a conversation offline. Right. Maybe I just need to call you. Yeah. Because the other piece is, you have a relationship with them. They pretty much know you as a person. Yeah. And so most of the time, prior to the back and forth online, it's a what we used to do back in the day called pick up the phone to call somebody. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. That's a back in the day.
Bro, yeah,
reference.
man. Yeah.
Pick up the phone and call.
Pick up the phone.
It's an ancient reference to an olden time.
But this is even more ancient.
Oh yeah, with the two fingers. That's not that.
That tells you.
Might as well use a rotary at that point.
You telling your age at that point. You doing. Or when you really tell your age, and when you say, "Well, hold on, let me click over."
Click over. You might as well have an AOL account.
Yeah, but so a lot of times it's what. Let me pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
Because the back and forth can be interpreted so many different ways.
Yeah.
But having the conversation, and I think I need to really do that.
Yeah.
And I've chosen not to, but I have also chosen not to engage in the online conversations.
Yeah.
But I know for me, I definitely need to have a phone call because there's a couple of brothers that, and I'll be honest, I really miss them where they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got you. I like that.
And outside of missing them, more so worried about their souls, man.
And that's the right perspective to have because, like, to your point, when we respond out of emotion,
right,
we interpret people's hurt through the lens of our own.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You said this. I'm pissed that you said it because it affected me this way. Mm-hmm. So now I want to respond to what you said with that lens of hurt. Versus, where did that come from?
Right.
And I could be reading this all wrong. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is a different situation slightly. But I remember I was at a school one time and I was teaching about forgiveness. And I was talking about how you let the debt go and you lay it down and then, seek justice and da-da-da. And I remember a girl came up to me afterwards. She was like, okay, good. So to be a good person and to learn to forgive, I need to just forget about what my uncle did to me. And I was like, that is not what I was saying at all. But then I realized how I understood, how I could see from her vantage how she could have interpreted, just let it go and act like nothing happened. And I was like, that's not what I'm trying to communicate. Right. So because I heard it from her lens, it changed my whole talk on some like, now what I'm not saying is this, because I didn't want somebody else in the crowd. Because I don't know who else in the crowd heard that day and didn't come talk to me. I'm like, that does damage, bro. So like, I'm like, every time I've done that talk since, I'm like, here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you don't go hold somebody accountable. I'm not saying, I'm just saying blah, 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 blah. And so like, understanding something from somebody else's lens help you really know how to respond to them. Right. Yeah. So like when somebody's saying, I had another homie who left the faith and became, I'm talking about vitriolic, like just crazy, like just wild, disrespectful stuff about, I'm like, bro, you know how many people follow you that hold this thing sacred. Right. At this point, you just flexing the poke the bear just for fun. You're having a good time with this.
Yeah, man.
And so like, we had one conversation face to face about it, and I saw that his hurt came from some very specific trauma, church not dealing with Black death and stuff that was going on the right way. I saw, and it was like, where's God at if this is going on, and why is people like this? We know a ton of people that was hurt by that. I got hurt by something, right? So I understood where it came from, but I also knew like there's not a lot of reasoning to be done here with this. So we just stayed in each other's lives, man. Like when we would talk, it would just be peace and love and checking on family, and we're talking like it was none of that. His post was like, "Hey man, you talking about God who I love dearly, like really wild right now," and I want to respond and I want to, bro, calm down, dog. Like what? But we have totally different worldviews. Like my hurt on this is nothing to do with his hurt on this. And I felt like with him in particular, the only thing I can do, I just want to be a good friend to you, be present. It's like, and then, things actually end up turning around much later, like much later. But I never stopped praying for him and all that type of stuff. And I asked God, am I supposed to approach and have a convo?
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to, even though, you know what I mean? There's been times when I felt like I'm supposed to, times I'm not. But I think it's leading with compassion and understanding this is all coming from somewhere else, even though the fruit of it is nasty. The root of it is something that I have a deep deal of compassion for. And I'm like, I pray that somebody can meet him in that space. So like, I watched I watched him come around in ways that had nothing to do with my intervention. I just watched God do stuff, and it was really dope.
And I think from what I've seen, a lot of the deconstruction has come because of, for instance, the lack of a response to some of the racial injustices that have happened.
Or just a real question. I'm sorry,
Yeah. And so, when you have someone that is like, well, hey, how come the church is not,
facts.
Why are they not addressing what is happening to Black lives and such and such and so on?
Yeah.
So,
Facts.
That kind of turns them away. But unfortunately, you just got to realize that, that ain't every church.
Facts.
That ain't every church. That's not every pastor's heart.
Facts.
Because if you took that stance with everything, where would you be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many things, your car broke down. Your car disappointed you. Do you no longer drive cars?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, just because this one particular instance or whatever has caused you a little discomfort, now all of a sudden, you just all the way out.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, maybe you end up for the wrong reason in the first place.
I'm actually not against deconstructing. I think it's actually a good thing. I think it's very healthy to do. I think, even Jesus would be like, man, look, your tradition is making the word of God of no effect right now. You added stuff here. Like, you put burdens on people and you're not willing to lift a finger to help them out. Like, why did you add this to it? Like, Jesus was in that joint. Like, what did y'all talk about? Like, so I don't have a problem with deconstructing in that regard. Like, what did the faith actually say? We go to church, they do this stuff, this thing's going on, people run around. That's okay, you want to run, but like, what's the Bible? Like, do I have to run? Like, do I have to speak in tongues? Like, what's the Bible actually say? Like, I started a deconstruction journey when I was just sitting in the back of church, just reading the Bible for myself. I was like, you know what, man, I've been here for a couple of years now. I should actually read the book. You know what I mean? And I started reading it, and I'm like, wait a minute, why are we doing that when it says not to do that?
Right.
Like, and so I started like, what else don't I know about?
Yeah.
So there's a healthy side of it that I'm fully for.
Yeah, once you start to see some of the traditions, and the religious practices that are man-made, and that the Lord ain't say to do. You know what I mean? So it makes sense.
We should always ask why. You should always ask why. Why is the best question ever. Let's take communion. Why? Let's get some juice. Why? Let's get a little cracker. Why? Like, I think you should, because if you can't explain it, why are we doing it? I'm like, I think that there should be, all that stuff's really important, I think.
A healthy deconstruction.
Healthy. I'm cool with skepticism, not cynicism. You know what I mean? Skepticism is, I have a question, I would like some proof or some evidence and explanation. That's fine. Cynicism is, no matter what you say, I'm coming back vitriolic anyway. Cynicism is, even if you bring it to me, I'm still, I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's a different situation. Like, skeptical is healthy. I think that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. And some people are naturally more skeptical than others. Not a problem. That's how you're wired. I'm cool. Some people jump in feet first and ask questions later. Cool. But yeah, there's a healthy side of that. And I think everybody should constantly be in a mode of, let's deconstruct what we think about this. You should take it out the church. You should do that with your liberalism and your conservatism and your progressive. You should do all that. Like, wait, we said this, but are we actually leaning on these things? I think nothing wrong with that, man. But the main point is, when you're dealing with somebody that has questions, and whether they're coming at you right, wrong, or indifferent, let me start with compassion. That's my only takeaway from this. Can I start this conversation with, hey, how are you, first off? Why are you asking that question? How can I help be a part of that? Maybe you need these answers. Maybe you need a hug. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's just, I think when I can't control somebody's emotional environment. So if they come in however they come in, cool. When I let it affect my emotional environment, that's my fault. I just need to have compassion. Like, man, bro's hurting right now. Bro's going through some stuff. Bro may not, he may have had valid questions and hurts that nobody answered and dealt with. And if that's the case, man, that's a failure of this community for him. His response sucks, but I care about him. So am I supposed to be in his life? Maybe I'm just supposed to pray. maybe for my own health, I need to mute him for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because if it's affecting your emotional environment,
right,
it's not weak of you to be like, I can't read this right now because it makes me angry because of whatever. So I think it's just being able to regulate, man. But the biggest thing is, am I doing this out of compassion or like critique and revenge? Like, I think there's a difference between compassion and critique, and we need to lead with compassion.
Yeah, yeah. And I think for me, that's why I haven't even responded to some things.
Yeah,
because not really certain where my response is coming from.
Yeah,
and because of that, you know what? Let me hold off.
That's wisdom.
And I even had stuff loaded.
Ready,
but it's like, you know what? Let me pull back on that.
I was typing my response when you was like, yo, we ready to film. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, oh, for real? You want to, let me, I'm probably gonna go back and delete it.
Let me pull back, or let me reevaluate that. Or even, should I even respond?
Yeah, is it even worth it?
Right.
But you know what, man? Like, it's to lead with compassion, and then it's making sure the place I'm coming from is a good one, right? Like, am I coming from this place is a good place? And if I don't know, the best answer may be silence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe silence. Am I willing to walk away?
Yeah.
Do I feel the need to prove my point, to validate my point?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, am I that insecure in my point that if I don't prove you wrong, my point is not valid, or I've not earned my right to hold this position unless I shut down every opportunity to make it. You know what I mean? Like, if you got to do all that, then I'm chilling out here, bro. Because like my thing is, I'm nobody's savior.
Yeah,
you feel me? So like a lot of times I can see that stuff and feel the pressure to, if I don't say something, you know what I mean? All is lost. And there may be situations where God has assigned you to be one to bring a nugget of truth. That's cool. But it ain't every situation.
Right.
And so I don't have to comment on everything, call everybody, do everything. Sometimes my job is pray, God, send the right person. Send the person that can be there for them in this situation. I spend 90% more time praying for folks than I probably do calling and actually checking them in person, because I'm like, I really want to make sure I'm doing it for the right reasons. And if God, what I've learned with me, when God wants me to really check somebody or call somebody or check on somebody, it won't leave my mind. You know what I mean? When the emotions are done, when the excitement or the frustration is gone, and I'm leveled back out, and I'm still thinking about it, that's typically when I'm supposed to do something.
Got it.
When all that's gone and I ain't thought about it, I'm like, oh, that was just me being emotional. I really shouldn't. I'm glad I ain't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's typically what I do. I give it some time. So,
that's good, man. I know how to. I know how to handle some of them things a little better.
Yeah, man.
And it's so crazy, man, because I've seen a lot of it. A lot of people outside of deconstructing the faith, but after their deconstruction, choosing to leave. You know what I mean? And again, deconstructing it, a healthy deconstruction is good. Kind of question, some of the things that may be taking place. Yeah. But for these guys that have done it and have chosen to leave the faith, it's just, for me, it's concerning. And, wanting the best for them. But then at the same time, like, yo, you need to relax, man.
Yeah.
You really got to relax on some of your...
Yeah, you're being offensive.
Yeah, you get me a little tight, man, so...
Deconstruction helped me stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, like, I was like, can I trust where these books came from? Can I trust Jesus is who he said he is? Yeah, I want to just take your word for it. That's the easy route. But let me, like, look in, and maybe I'll find out that this ain't it. Like, I literally was tearing stuff down to see if I really believe this. And my faith got stronger through it. So, healthy deconstruction.
And that kind of makes me think, because I think for me and my wife, we went through a healthy deconstruction. After our last, church situation, we went through a healthy deconstruction just to kind of find out, hey, where were we? What did we believe? Was it some things that we accepted that we shouldn't have? Just so a lot of that conversation, and it definitely made us. It made us better.
Yeah.
So a healthy deconstruction is
it's good, man.
Very beneficial.
Yeah, you can get the crap out the way and find out like what really is going on.
Yeah,
But I mean, you got to have healthy people in your life.
Yes, yeah. You can't do healthy deconstruction and you got negative people. You got poison around you.
Yeah, everybody angry. Like, if everybody's angry, then this deconstruction is emotional.
Right.
So let's if facts are facts, facts ain't got emotion to them. Like, let's just talk about facts like without any of this other stuff and find out what rises to the top. That's why I think apologetics is key. Like, can we answer questions? I had somebody come up, I'm done here, but I had somebody come up to me at church the other day, and I did a sermon about the problem of evil, right? Why, if God is good, why, right? And he was like, bro, I'm a scientist, I'm a questioner, I left church because nobody would answer this question. He said, this is my 5th time coming back, and I still have a ton of questions. He's like, that's the first time somebody actually tackled that question head on. Most times I ask people, they get the deer eyes and run off.
Right.
He was like, you didn't avoid it, and that helped me a lot, thank you. And I'm like, bro, I'm only here to give you that because somebody answered me when I asked, and it made sense, and I dug more, and now this is where I'm at. So he's like, bro, that helped me get more to think about things. So,
yeah, that makes me think, man, because there was a time before my question was, can you be saved and smoke weed?
Yeah.
And
you still haven't found the answer. That's all you really pulled up.
Whatever, y'all. Whatever. But the response for so long was, well, no, because it's illegal. All right, so now that it's legal,
now what?
What's the answer now?
But
for me, that's where the deconstruction came into play. And anything that you need or that you rely on outside of the Holy Spirit, the Comforter of the Lord himself, is wrong. And most people that smoke weed, they're smoking it either, if we're talking about artists, they smoking it for creativity. Well, you're supposed to rely on the Holy Spirit for that. If you had a bad day at work and you need to unwind, well, Comforter, that's what you're supposed to do. And so at this point, if you're using weed whether it's weed or anything else, as a substitute to you going to the Lord in prayer, or look, man, I need you to help me with this situation, but you need to go blow a tree first, then that's for somebody. I don't know who that's for, but that's that, man.
Nah, that's good though. That's real good, man. So yeah, I think lead with compassion and just make sure that lead with compassion and don't feel the need to prove your point all the time. You got to do it.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's to make you feel good, not necessarily because it is good.
Yeah, it's definitely an ego. A lot of times it's ego and emotional.
Yeah.
It's driven, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Word up. I like it. I think that was helpful.
Not too bad, man. Not too bad.
5 stars. Do that. Do the thing.
Hey, man, thank you so much for watching this episode. Do me a favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go to the show notes, do all the things, and let us know what you're feeling because we'd love to hear from you. Appreciate you.